first CMO of Polymarket.
It was very early days. I thought I was already late, but I wasn't.
There's no free lunch, no matter where you are.
And why not? They should give us free lunch.
I know prediction markets is the narrative that's really popular right now.
Polymarket was in 2020, it was nothing. It was like tiny startup and there was no prediction market. I give credit to Shane, he was the visionary.
Now it's kind of turned into its own media, like a truth discovery platform. I remember when the recent New York mayor elections were going on, there was so much of focus on what Polymarket thinks who's gonna win. Having regulatory like grayness is almost like a good thing because it's kind of like any PR is good PR.
It is good, but it's not good if you want to scale. So I'm a former head of marketing for a number of projects. Polymarket is one of them, but also IoTeX, Zilliqa. I advised for Denver, and I was a judge at Denver. I would mentor at Global. I advised for Techstars mentorship. So really fully immersed in Web3. So
To kind of zoom out and start from the beginning, what made you get into Web3?
yeah, so for me, I got in. I don't know if it's accidentally, sort of accidentally. I was running digital agency in New York City, so I was their head of digital, and I went. I was meeting with a friend. I was end of 2016. I was meeting with a friend for. We were supposed to meet with a friend, and he was running late. So he told me it was in Flatiron here in New York. He told me, "Hey, listen, can we delay by 30 minutes?" And I'm like, "I gotta kill 30 minutes. I want to meet up," and that's the beauty of New York. There was this crypto thing happening event, and I'm like, "Crypto? What is this scam?" It's keep in mind, end of 2016, it was still pretty early on, uh, and I was like, "Let me just go check it out," because I got time to kill. So it was here at Barclays Center in New York. I just swing. It was 3 blocks from my office, so I was like, "Listen, let me just listen in." I went there for a few minutes, and it happened to be the CEO of Ethereum talking. At the time, a tiny startup still. And so, long story short, literally went through, through a bunch of stuff that is like, all the different emotions. Oh my God, this is incredible. Like, first, what is this? Very skeptical. And as time, like literally, session progressed, I'm like, oh my God, this is so much opening. And I actually write to my friend, listen, now you gotta wait 30 minutes. So he had to wait 30 minutes because I had to finish this. And I went to really was affected. Like I saw the possibilities. Maybe I'm impressionate. That's also possible. And I went to my agency and I said to my co-founders and said, listen, guys, we gotta start doing blockchain and I'll take charge of the blockchain sector. And so it was before blockchain was a thing. We started a meetup. It became the biggest blockchain in the New York City. And all in all, yeah, I was pretty thrilled. It was not. It was very early days. I thought I was already late, but I wasn't.
Do you think it's too late now? 10 years later, it's 2026.
I don't think it's too late, but you have to ask why you're here because it's not no longer as easy. Meaning as easy, you can't just buy Bitcoin and hold. I mean, you can, but it won't like unless you're already super rich. If you buy $10 of Bitcoin or let's say $100 of Bitcoin right now, you know it maybe at best will be $200, $300, right? If it triples from where we are now, and it's not an easy lift. I think it's also market. So it's not as easy, but if you really love the space, you like what it's about, decentralization and community. And I still think it's a great place to be. It's not easy. No space is easy.
Of course, yeah. I think there's no free lunch, no matter where you are. It's,
And why not? They should give us free
I
lunch.
know, that would be nice. Um,
Yes, but no.
yeah. But so from there, you're the CMO for so many incredible projects that have gone on to do so well, including
Thank
Zilka
you.
and IoTeX, Polymarket. And just to kind of zoom into Polymarket, I think right now, just because, it's being talked about so much, and of course, prediction markets is kind of like the next or the narrative that's really popular right now. So, what was that like? What made you join Polymarket back in 2020? And
Well, we have to be straightforward. When Apollo Market was in 2020, it was nothing. It was like tiny startup, and there was no prediction markets. There was Ogre before that, and even in 2020, it was considered a bit ancient and dead. So basically, prediction markets, how Ogre did it, didn't work. And our approach was quite a bit different. I mean, once again, I give credit to Shane. He was the visionary. I was brought in to do the marketing, right? I was brought in to do what I do. And he thought some of prediction market could work. And my role was to how do we scale it. So we had only like a few dozen users when I joined, and I had to figure out how do we scale to thousands and tens of thousands users when I was there. And now it's over like millions of users now.
yeah. So back when you were there, like in 2020, in the beginning, like what problem did you actually think you guys were solving for? Was it actually like prediction accuracy, or were you solving for liquidity? What was the actual thing that you were solving for in marketing to the users back then?
Yeah, I mean, great question. What we were solving for was people, like, there were a lot of polls that were inaccurate. Putting your money where your mouth was basically the most essential thing you can do to get an honest answer. Objective was like, hey, this might be more accurate infographic and graphic than some random poll. Traditional. So my approach was to that. Let's see how we can build it better. And the honest point is, hey, if you think Trump gonna win or Biden at the time, I don't put your mouth where where your money where your mouth is. And so it becomes more earnest and real information versus up to that point it was like, hey, Gallup poll says we look at prediction is 50%, but reality is who will people who are more earnest, the poll at Paul Market might be 30%.
Hmm.
There in another way, yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like now it's kind of turned it into its own media, right? Or like a truth discovery platform. I remember when the recent New York mayor elections were going on, there was so much of a focus on, what Polymarket thinks who's going to win. And was that something that you had thought would happen with Polymarket, where it becomes its own form of media, where people actually care about, what people on Polymarket think is going to happen in real life events?
I don't think we saw that far. We're definitely we wanted media to take us and use us as polls. That was Shane's original vision that you know media would use us as a quoting poll, and it has this poll this to this, and it came true, right? So this is incredible to see in retrospect. When I was there, we were just like hoping there was no Paul Market. We were tiny, and now Paul Market is everywhere and mentions and quotes. So it was very exciting way to proceed. But yeah, we wanted it, but we didn't have it yet.
Yeah, makes sense. No, I think it's incredible. Even for me, I remember when the elections were happening, I was kind of keeping an eye out, Polymarket, Kalshi, and then at the same time, obviously, on what's happening in the real world. But having done marketing for Polymarket and also been the head of marketing for like a deep end project like IoTeX, what's kind of been the difference in terms of, marketing for something so consumer versus something that's a bit more uh, I guess also partly for the token holders, but other than that, for more B2B and crypto.
So yeah, thank you. Really good question. Yeah, so for how would I put it? It's very different because Polo Market can overlap with the Web 2, and it did, and that something was means you have much larger audience. Whereas with the IoTeX, we had to figure out how do we market IoT, which is already complicated, to crypto audience, which is doesn't get IoT. So we had to figure out how to make it easier to understand and absorb. And in IoTeX, we did it with MachineFi. So we at the time in 21 we did a rebrand MachineFi, which basically made it easier for a person to understand that how to robots and machines can impact life around us. And it was much more straightforward than trying to explain to somebody what is the Internet of Things is, which is
Yeah.
not easy. It's like, so whereas if you tell somebody, hey, machine can have a wallet and it can be autonomous and you cannot really break in and steal the money, because it's much easier for somebody to break in the system and hack centralized, let's say 10 million devices versus on if it's on blockchain, every device, like let's say microwaves, sprinklers, cleaning robots, uh, it would, fridges, your smart devices, like almost everything that's connected is part of the economy where it could have its own wallet and then get its own transactions and make its own decision.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess so when it's consumer, it's more around, also, I'm guessing, influencers, or do you think both like B2B and B2C is like KOL driven in crypto?
It's more B2C. B2B is still relevant, but B2B you have to use it
Yeah.
strategically, and it only matters to larger companies. So if you're B2B, it's more about biz dev, whereas in what we do with Lever, it's more about you want to launch a product and you need users. And how do you get them in crypto? And most of the time, you get them in crypto from the actual, what do we call it? From communities, audiences, right? So that's really critical element. It's having that ability to get tap into communities.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, so what kind of made you found Lever after all of these different experiences that you had?
Yeah. So the cool part of all that thing was that I realized that I. Uh, I realized there was a huge gap between what people say they wanted to do and uh, like between what people said they want, how they want to market, and understanding what marketing works. And KOLs are not easy, right? It's people, it's humans who have their own interests, who might be able to bot things and fake things. So building something that allows you to have this true source, true trust uh, channel of creators. Like we, for example, integrated with the YouTube, we get data for Twitter. So we know when it's real. We really know, for example, on YouTube, we know how many hours they watched, and no one else has it right now. Like you probably heard of some Kaitos and other platforms. Well, they're only Twitter. Nobody does YouTube, but YouTube is extremely relevant to projects that are a little more complex than your meme coin. So if you want something along the lines of uh, real world assets or depend or power prediction markets that has specific angle and you need to explain it, you can't really do it with one tweet. And whereas with video, it's much easier to explain it over prolonged period of time. Even if it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes, it's really a different way how we consume information.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think even for me, YouTube is a big crypto discovery tool. So, there's obviously a few KOLs who I trust, and so every time they have like YouTube video drops, I do pay a lot of attention, and a lot of times I would like blindly also invest in some things they say. So, I don't think KOL marketing is, dead, or as people say that, oh, everyone knows it's paid for, so they don't want to invest. But what's kind of your take on, because I also know that KOL marketing itself has gone through different uh, cycles in a way. There was a time when KOL rounds were really popular. Is that something that's still happening? What's kind of like the in the world of KOL marketing, what's really happening, and what's broken, what needs to be fixed, and what's your take on the whole marketing space in general?
Yeah, I sure. Like, so when we started the lever, which was 2024, mid 2024. No, actually, sorry. Originally, we started in mid 2023, so it's been close to almost more than 2.5 years now. It's going going quick. 2023. I'm sorry, 2.5 years, almost 3 years. So it's gonna be in the summer. Will be 3 years. I think the space was much more. There was no Kaito yet. There was no others, so it was actually even harder to navigate. And KOLs are. What else are you gonna do? So are you gonna do ads? Ads don't work in crypto, and also you get banned by YouTube, by Google, by Facebook. What else are you gonna do? Conferences? Conferences B2B, they're not B2C. How do you grow your community? So the way I give analogies, it's imagine you're building a fire and you need this starting kindling to start the fire. That's and then you need to also bring in somebody who can bring you wood, aka your community, to build that fire. So all that is KOL. So you can start your own community, but community built from people. And how do people find out about you? You need to have somebody to send you to them to you. You know that you need to send that audience is coming from different directions, and that's what influencers in crypto are. They're really community builders with their independent communities. You could say Polygon or Ethereum or Solana. They don't have their own communities, very big communities, but they are themselves also KOLs in a way. And then there's independent KOLs who have their own opinions and thoughts and analysis that is very interesting to other people. Their take. So we realized there was no systematization behind those stakes. There were no uh, data. There were no ability to hire them and do it. Like for example, you were supposed to just send money to crypto influencer and hope they're gonna do a job done. You think that's a good idea?
No, definitely.
Like imagine, thousands of dollars. Yes, that's how it was done before Lever. With Lever, you can go, oh, like I'm gonna hire through Lever, and I'll be able to have peace of mind that it's gonna get done. And if it's not gonna get done, you're gonna get your money back. So, and not only that, we're able to see how this creator works with other brands, and we know they actually deliver. They know they do jobs. So something like that didn't exist before. You had to go one by one. Imagine you work with KOL, and then you don't know. Next brand doesn't know if they're good or bad. So they could be terrible person to work with, but you don't know any better. It's like having no reviews. Imagine buying shoes and you don't have any reviews.
Yeah, that would be
Like,
crazy.
yeah, but that's what people did now. So Lever basically became as a platform. Kind of think of it. Do you know like a Costco
Yeah, yeah.
wholesaler? So yeah, for those who maybe not in the U.S., it's a Costco is a wholesaler that you don't go and buy their one can of something. Let's say you like one bottle of juice. You go and buy a case. So that's what kind of we became because when we launched originally, you could just go and buy hire one KOL. But what we realized is it doesn't work well. Brands don't know how to use KOLs. They don't know how to plan. But we would get really good rates for brands. And all of a sudden, we found agencies using us. But guess what? If agents using us, it means if you're the brand, you're paying double or more. So over time, we became more of like a Costco, where if you want to work with Lever, and you don't know where to start with KOLs, or you don't know how to pick them, or you don't want to deal with escrow, you come in because we already and get a much better rate, and we'll guide you what needs to be done. But we're not an agency. We're literally like your platform for anything really escrow related, data related, campaign related, and that's how we came about.
So interesting. And just so say I'm like a founder who wants to grow really from like zero to say grow my community to a much larger community. How would I go about it? How do you suggest them to kind of what kind of KOLs to pick? Is it better to have micro KOLs? Should they go directly for the really, really big KOLs? What's kind of like the general strategy that you would suggest?
I mean, you see, all those questions are relevant and literally relevant to every single business, and nobody knows the answer to them unless you dealt with KOLs a lot.
Yes.
And that's the problem. Most people haven't. So there's few ways to do it. One, you can go to news.lever.io, and we have a lot of guides on how to hire KOLs, what to know about them. Likely, you're still not gonna be figuring it out because it's this whole skill set. Imagine like you're trying to learn how to play basketball, but you don't know how to play basketball. How to dribble? I need to throw it in that hole. Ooh, like how? Is it, the two hands and they do one hand and do backwards? You don't know the rules. Imagine somebody just show you a hole and say, "Hey, go," and here's a ball. And be like, what do I do with this? You don't know how to score the game. So Lever helps that. So basically, nowadays, the way Lever works, you come to Lever and say, "Hey, I have a budget of X, and I'm looking to do this. Can't like," and then we literally will create a campaign for you that will take into consideration who's the hotter KOLs right now, what are the brands right now, what is trending right now, who performs really well at the moment. So really, all up to speed data would be there.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I could actually show. If you want, I can share a screen and show really quickly how it looks.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think it would be relevant to. Let me show you guys how to. Let me. I'm gonna log in. Yeah. So all in all, it's really important for people to understand that this is not some KOLs are very complex. And let me show you. All right, perfect. So yeah, so you can literally see, you can search by deals. You can search by X views in the last 30 days, and it will show you who's trending, doing really well with on X. You can see details. If I go to, let's say, this creator, DC Fuyao, you can see that in the last 30 days they had 2.3 million views. So it's massive. You can see their verified followers. You can see their top view location. So it's all the data that you don't normally have. We opened up Lever to everyone now.
Amazing.
So yeah.
Yeah, no. So I guess to everyone listening, go check out Lever, and I'll also link it in all the description boxes. So you guys can definitely go take a look. Um,
Thank you.
yeah, and then yeah, so I think just kind of wanted to also get your perspective on the general kind of where do you think marketing is going with like crypto, so far, or in different cycles, different kind of strategy. People have used different strategies for marketing. There was a time when yield, like you had to give really high yields and you had to do a lot of airdrops and all these different kind of strategies. But I do think the hype kind of marketing is dying down. I could be wrong, so you can feel free to correct me. But where do you think like 2026 or like going forward, what kind of crypto marketing will we see and how is it going to evolve?
So my yeah, and I did a Forbes article on that as well. So if you marketing, I mean, just crypto space, like crypto marketing always suffers because if everybody feeling sad or desperate or fear, generally people projects don't want to spend, and rightfully so. But when it gets interest is back up, that's when you want to kind of play into the momentum. Crypto is very momentum game. So I believe this year we're gonna have I don't know if I call it super cycle, but I believe we are in the up market. So we in the last even last year, I like Bitcoin was up market, but most other tokens did nothing.
Yeah.
Whereas now we're seeing a lot more uh, projects, brands actually building real use cases, right? Real world assets, stablecoin, DePIN, those sectors that really speak and connect with the real world. And that's what crypto has to be. If it's not connected to real world, who gives a shit? Like,
What do you kind of think of prediction markets as like a narrative? Do you think, because I know right now, obviously anytime any kind of project becomes really big, and in prediction markets, the examples obviously Polymarket and Kalshi, suddenly they were both kind of these massive companies that have emerged. So you have a lot of these little prediction markets that come up, and it becomes like a whole narrative. Do you think, are you long term kind of bullish on it, or not?
I mean, in my bullish and prediction markets, yes, they're doing great, and they're clearly there's a sector that interested. They're competing with sports betting in a way. So yeah, but do I think there are like I see a lot of projects trying to launch prediction markets, and unless you have very strong separation from example with Picasso markets, that's the one project I advise, and they do it more of a you get to draw the stock every day, and if you get it right, you win money. So it's a more of a gamified way to do it, and you can play with your friends. So there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do, but it's not just another prediction market because it's like Uber and Lyft. How many car companies you need?
And I think one thing I also wanted to understand was, so, with prediction markets until now, maybe right now it's not the case anymore, but I feel like it's still kind of a gray zone when it comes to regulations. Um, so for something like that, do you actually think that, regulatory kind of having that gray zone regulatory issues can actually kind of be a distribution channel just because you kind of come in the news a lot? There's a lot of controversy around the space. If
It's not gonna stop. It's been regulatory indirectness, and from the early days, it was more of a there wasn't regulation then. There's some regulation now. It's still going back and forth. It's a risk, but it's you know as long as users want it, it will exist in some way or shape or form.
Do you think, from a marketing perspective, actually having regulatory like grayness is almost like a good thing? Because, it's kind of like any PR is good PR. So even if you're getting bad PR, you're at least relevant.
Like it is a good, but it's not good if you want to scale. So it's good for a period of time, but it's also I think it's not good after a certain period of time. So that's I guess that's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
It's good, but it's how would I put it? It's for a really big scale we want regulation. I think it's kind of going there.
Yeah. And then I guess my last question is just, what are you kind of excited for in 2026 when it comes to crypto, marketing, really anything?
I think we're in an uptrend. There's a very good. We're in the right trajectory. I'm excited about where it's gonna be. I'm excited about how. Uh, I think there's a lot of shake up last year, and there was too much meme noise. Like I'm glad memes are gone because if there is noise in gambling, it's not a good look for crypto. It's not a good look for long term because it's taking away from real projects that are building that are trying to change, get adoption, and unfortunately, crypto is momentum or hype based interest. So that if there's hype is only about meme coins, that literally there's cannot be any. It's like zero sum game. It's you just launching something and you're borrowing from somebody else, like it's a borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. It's at some point like the statistics was 90% of people lost money in meme coins, and there was no real. I don't know. You could say maybe some technology got it better, but I think it was mostly gambling. So I'm excited that we passed that stage and we actually can focus on those stable coins, real world assets, really where it will make a difference. And so I'm hopeful that Lever, if you whoever interested, check out Lever.io, that will play a role. If you have a project that you're really trying to put a word out, look how good we are. Look, we get building something awesome, but you're not able to get that attention or eyeballs on it. Lever is really good for this. Like I mentioned, we just open it to everybody, so now you can, uh, you know, kind of go in and use us and get amazing data and results.
Yeah, no, I think it's such a cool platform, and I hope everyone here kind of checks it out. Yeah, I think even for me, I'm very excited for 2026, kind of see how crypto evolves, it is definitely getting much more legitimate in a way. So I'm excited to see how that goes. But thank you so much for being here today. It was wonderful having you on, and I'm excited to see how Lever grows as well.
My pleasure. Really thrilled to be here, and yeah, it's keep spreading the word. You're doing a great job here. Keep going. Yeah,
Thank
thanks.
Thank you for listening to Off the Record. If you like this episode, like, subscribe, and leave a review. It helps the podcast grow. You can find more episodes wherever you get your podcasts. See you next time.